What's up my friends, my name is Forge and welcome back to our brand new beta video. So today we're going over 1.17.10.20 for the Bedrock edition on Windows 10, Xbox One, and Android devices. Now within this new beta, we do have a bunch of bug fixes regarding a bunch of stuff from the previous betas. There's also some new additions and a bunch of good changes. The first change is that thunderstorms, they now happen as they do on the Java edition. Now on the Java edition, I don't know exactly how rare or how common thunderstorms are, but I do know that they're not as common as they are on Bedrock Edition right now. Axolotls, they no longer move their tails while playing dead. The axolotl's hitbox is now smaller to match the size of the mob. Feeding axolotls with a bucket of tropical fish, they now return water buckets instead of an empty bucket. They eat the fish, but do they also drink the water? Well, I guess they could drink the water if they wanted to. But maybe that was what they did. Maybe they were just drinking up all the water and just giving you the empty bucket. Then Guardians and Elder Guardians, they now attack axolotls on sight, and same thing for drowns. So if I grab these axolotls, I'm going to go and place out a bunch of these. And now as you can see, all the Guardians and all the drowns, they're going to go and start to attack the axolotls. So you know what, the axolotls, their job has just become a lot harder and a lot more difficult. Now bone milling azalea trees and flowering azalea trees, they now are able to be grown when placed on clay. So we have ourselves some bone meal. I interact with this, and as you can see, it grows our tree. And the same thing applies for flowering azaleas as well. Using pick block on azalea leaves and flowering azalea leaves, they now give you the proper block. Originally they would only give you the azaleas back, so if I now pick block these, we get ourselves the appropriate blocks back. Now copper ore is now placed after other overworld ores in the creative inventory. Copper ore would be placed directly after the ancient debris, right next to deep slate blocks, but now it's going to be placed exactly right here in between coal and emerald. Deep slate is now placed after other stones in the creative inventory. We have stone, and now deep slate is going to be placed right here, right after blackstone. Glow item frames is now placed after regular item frames in the inventory. So yet again, open this up. We have the glow item frame right there, right next to the item frame. And now hanging roots, they can be destroyed by water now. So we have installed some hanging roots on top of a barrier block. If I break this block right here, then watch what happens. The water goes down and destroys the Rooney Dirt. So they've made it to where lightning rods, they no longer break falling blocks when they land on top of it. Now I think that they need to revert this because it kind of makes sense. When something falls on top of the lightning rod, it should end up breaking it. But if I go ahead and break this, then as you can see, none of these falling blocks, they end up not getting broken. And I think that needs to be changed back to where they get broken, like how it is for torches. For a torch, we know how this works. We place a bunch of blocks like this, we go ahead and break it, and then they all get broken and land on the torch. But doesn't it look weird when it's just standing on top of the torch? Yeah, it is definitely a very strange sight. Now Rooney Dirt, they are now randomly rotated when you're placing it down. Now for the texture, this is the only thing that's rotated. The block is not rotated itself. So a lot of people think that they mean like how it is for logs, to where you can place down logs and then you place it facing in our direction and it'll face towards you. It does not do that. It's only the texture that does it. So it's kind of like how it is for grass, or even how it is for dirt. Items can now be previewed in the character creator and equipped using the equip button. And they added the equip button to classic skins in the caves tab. So what they mean by that is that if you go and select one of these, then you get yourself a button that says equip. Once you go and click on that, then that's going to equip obviously the thing that you're selecting. And why is my head on backwards? Now one thing I also noticed is that, yeah, custom skins, they're broken. They are completely broken. It says import an image file from your device to use as your skin. There is no import button, but hopefully this will be fixed very soon. The title clear command now correctly clears the title and subtitle from the HUD. Profile screen reload button is now localized. They fixed split screen players not being able to rename items. Projectiles such as snowballs and eggs, they no longer cast shadows. So we have our snowball and we have our egg. So as you can now see, it's going to render properly, and there's no longer going to be a shadow, which is absolutely great. Our next change is all dropped items now have a similar floating height. Data driven items, they now swing faster when targeting blocks. The firework rockets obtained from the /replace item command, they now have a flight duration. Firework stars obtained with the /replace item command, they now have proper color values. The small drip leaf now only drops itself when it's broken by shears. So now whenever you want to break these, make sure you bring your shears along so that way you can take them back to your base. Skeletons, they now turn into strays after 20 seconds, and that was reduced from 45 seconds. So I grab myself a skeleton, I go ahead and chuck that right into the pile of snow, and the skeleton is going to start to shake. Now after 20 seconds, it will turn into a stray. But let's go ahead and talk about the next change while we're waiting. Burning mobs, they no longer destroy pile of snow when the mob griefing game rule is disabled. So if you disable that game rule, then your pile of snow is going to be absolutely safe, which is absolutely great. And there we go, he has just turned into a stray. All you stray farmers out there better be ready, because soon you'll be able to get all those slowness arrows all that you want. I mean, you do like slowness arrows, right? I heard they're pretty good. Up our item tooltip duration now scales the length of the tooltip text. They added a new accessibility icon in the settings menu, and I actually do like this new icon. So this icon is going to look like a key. We're now down to the technical changes. So loot chests with the seed 0, they now correctly randomize if placed on the same coordinates. Note that pick blocking a vanilla loot chest before opening will now result in identical in each copy unless you set the seed to 0 in the NBT. The Ender Dragon rendering and animations, they are now fully data driven. The Ender Crystal rendering and animations, they are now fully data driven. Graphics hardware that supports a maximum of Direct3D 11 feature level of 9_3 or below are no longer supported. They added better error handling for JSON parsing, also added several new content errors for new item parsing as well as loot tables. Incoming client sync properties for newly seen types will properly register with the client-side actor property manager groups. They also added in a few new queries. They added in query wing_flap_position, and now works for the Ender Dragon. They added query.showButton, a query for determining whether or not the entity's bottom is rendered. You know, you gotta make sure those bottoms are rendered. They added query death time, a query for determining the elapsed ticks since the mob started dying. They added math dot minimum angle, a math expression for minimizing the angle magnitude in degrees into the range of -180, 180. And now they also did a few changes to the game test framework as well. But with that, that's actually the entire beta in basically a nutshell. So if you do want to read everything for yourself, there will be a link down below in the description. But the only thing I just left out was the game test framework. Everything else that I read off in the video was exactly how it was in the changelog. I do want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think of this week's beta? And are you excited for the 1.17 release? If you enjoyed today's video or found it interesting, then consider leaving a like on it, subscribe if you're new around here, and don't forget to turn on notifications. Hope you have a logical day, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.